welcome back again to my channel English One-on-One. Where we take the frustration out of learning. Today we shall be looking at the poem The Woman Who Speaks to the Man Who Has Employed Her Son. This poem has a lot of serious issues, societal issues that are actually embedded and explored in this poem, and we are going to discuss these. So stay tuned. Objectives of this presentation are as follows. 1. To make students cognizant of the societal issues embedded in this poem. 2. To identify the devices that are used in this poem and to comment on their effectiveness. To discuss the themes explored in this poem. Lastly, to develop an understanding of the mood and tone of the poem so as to be able to answer questions on this poem. Let us read the poem, The Woman Speaks to the Man Who Has Employed Her Son. And the first stanza reads, Her son was first made known to her as a sense of unease, a need to cry for little reason, and a metallic tide rising in her mouth each morning. Such signs made her know that she was not alone in her body. She carried him full term, tight up under her heart. Analysis of the first stanza of this poem. In the first stanza, the woman discovers that she is pregnant based on the nauseous feelings she is experiencing, a metallic tide rising in her mouth each morning. Despite these feelings, it is clear that this pregnant woman not only carried the baby for 9 months full term, but she had also created or formed a bond with her unborn child. This is conveyed in the expression full term, tight up under her heart. The second stanza of this poem reads, She carried him like the poor carried hope. Hope you get a break or a visa. Hope one child goes through and remember you. He had no father. The man she had made him with had more like him. He was fair-minded. He treated all his children with equal and unbiased indifference. Of the second stanza. In the second stanza of this poem, we are made aware of the woman's plight. It is apparent that she is economically challenged in that she is poor, and we are also told that she is a single parent. As a result of this, she had high expectations or hopes for her offspring. He was literally her beacon of hope. Stanza. And the third stanza of this poem reads, She raised him twice, once as mother and then as father, set no ceiling as on what he could be. Doctor, earth healer, pilot, take wings. But now he tells her he is working for you. and that you value him so much that you give him one old submachine gun for him alone. Third stanza of this poem, the poet indicates that the mother had hoped that her son would have been a productive member of society, doctor, earth healer, pilot, take wings. However, we are told that now our son is working for you. The use of the contrasting conjunction in this stanza but implies that woman believes that her son will not be able to fulfill these goals because he's working for an unscrupulous employer who gives him one old submachine gun. The fourth stanza. And the fourth stanza of this poem reads, he says you are like a father to him. She's wondering what kind of father would give a son hot and exploding debt when he asks him for bread. She went downtown and bought 3 1/3 yards of black cloth and a deep crowned and veiled hat for the day that he draw his bloody salary. Stanza. It is apparent or clear or vivid that the woman's son had aligned himself with an unscrupulous person because he was seeking a father figure. The mother is perplexed, and understandably so. She does not believe that someone who has her son's best interest in mind would have given him hot and exploding debt. And exploding debt. The mother, who is a practical woman, does not support or condones her son's actions. Consequently, she prepares herself for his imminent death, the day he draws his bloody salary. Did you get that? I trust that you did. Stanza 5. And stanza 5 reads, she has no power over you, and this at the level of earth. What she has are prayers and a mother's tears, and at necessity she uses them. She says psalms for him. She reads psalms for you. She weeps for his soul. Her eye water covers you. Of the fifth stanza. The mother is conscious of the fact that she is powerless against the employer due to the fact that she is not as financially secured as him. All she has are a mother's prayers, and at necessity she uses them. It is also obvious that she is religious. She wants God to forgive her son, but take revenge against the employer. This is conveyed in the following lines. She says psalms for him. She reads psalms for you. And final stanza of this poem, and it reads, she is throwing a partner with Judas Iscariot's mother, the thief on the left-hand side of the cross. His mother is a banker. Her draw, though, is first and last, for she is still throwing two hands as mother and father. She is prepared, she is done, Absalom. Of the sixth stanza. In this stanza, the mother's result is translucent. She believes that her son has betrayed her in the same way or manner Judas's mother felt betrayed by her son's act of betrayal. Both mothers felt powerless in that they could not control the outcome of their sons' wrong choices. They just had to accept the situation. The mother's preparation for her son's inevitable death is seen in the fact that she's thrown through two hands, both as mother and father in a partner. This further solidifies that the father played no role in his son's life. Do you know about the poet Lorna Goodison? Here is some information. Lorna Goodison, born August 1st, 1974, is a Canadian Jamaican poet, yes, Jamaica, and one of the most leading West Indian writers of the post-World War II generation. She is the author of more than 8 books of poetry, including Traveling Mercies, Controlling the Silver, and The Golden Grove, new and selected poems, 2 collections of short stories, and an acclaimed memoir from Harvey River, a memoir for my mother and her people, which was a finalist for the Charles Taylor Prize for Literary Nonfiction and won the BC Award for Canadian Nonfiction. Of course, if you know a poem written by her or even a book written by her, just drop it in the comment section. Okay. Analysis of Lorna Goodison's poem, I believe that Lorna Goodison mainly writes about her Jamaican culture. In her poems, she focuses on the family structure and the different roles and challenges that the Caribbean woman encounters. Her poems portray the strength and resilience of women who had to deal with several unbearable challenges. In this poem, she cleverly and subtly portrays some of the plight of the marginalized women who had to overcome and accept the hand that they had been dealt or their fate. Do you agree? As stated earlier, this poem addresses several societal issues. One, single parent household and the financial burden or financial pressure placed on the main caregiver. Hope you get a break or visa. Hope one child goes through and remember you. Clearly, the mother, being a single parent, had to raise him twice as once as mother and as father. And so we see that the burden that is placed on this mother here may have caused her not to have enough time to maybe spare with this child. And as a result of that, he was able to have sufficient time to align himself with an unscrupulous individual. Secondly, absentee fathers and the negative impact on the child or children. As we can see here in this poem, the young man, the son, had aligned himself to this unscrupulous individual because he was in search of a father figure. Thirdly, an association with unscrupulous individuals and the negative impact on boys and their future. And we realize that when boys align themselves with individuals who do not have their best interests at heart, then there are deadly consequences. Fourthly, poverty and its deadly impact. And we know that poverty has negative impact, and poverty can directly and indirectly affect individuals, especially our boys. Fifth, unrealized goals or dreams. Though the mother had high expectation for her son, he did not live up to these, nor did he fulfill these expectations. Doctor, earth healer, pilot, take wings. And then lastly, we have to look at parenting styles within the Caribbean region. We find that sometimes boys are left by the byway and edges, and as a result of that, they have sufficient time to align themselves with those individuals who do not have their best interests at heart. Now let us turn our attention to the devices embedded in this poem. Now there are several literary or poetic devices embedded in this poem. One, we had the metaphor, full term, tight up under her heart is an example. Set no ceiling. That means he could be whatever he wanted to be. There was no limitation placed on him. The day he draws his bloody salary. That's another example of the metaphor. So here you have three examples that you can comment effectively on. Then, of course, you have the repetition of you there, the pronoun you in reference to the employer, and hope you get a break or a visa, hope one child goes through, and remember you. Okay, then of course we have the irony. He was fair-minded. He treated all his children with equal and unbiased indifference. And we know that the father was a mere sperm donor. He did not play a role in any of his children's life. He did not have a preference. And then we have another irony here. You value him so much, you give him one old submachine gun for himself. And here the you there again is in reference to the employer and the fact that he did not place any value on the child's life. And as a result of that, he gave him the submachine gun. And you know what happened. If you live by the gun, you shall die by the gun. And the mother is very cognizant of this. And then, of course, lastly, we had the biblical allusion. And the biblical allusion, we know that an allusion is a reference. And so we had a biblical reference to Judas, and we also have a reference to Absalom. Okay, right? And if there are any other device that was not mentioned here, please share it in the comment section below. Thank you. The themes explored in this poem are as follows. 1. Love and family relationship. 2. Woman in society. 3. Parenting. 4. Dreams and aspiration. 5. The powerful versus the powerless. And lastly, attitude to power and authority. And any other theme that your teacher may have explored. The mood and tone of this poem. Mood refers to the overall feeling that you get after you have read the poem. Now, the mood of this poem could be described as sad, somber, melancholic, or gloomy. The tone of this poem may be considered serious in nature, reflective, and also accepting. Did you get that? I trust that you did. The lessons. The lessons. There are many lessons that students may learn from this poem. Some of them are as follows. 1. Be careful with whom you are intimate with, as not everyone wants to be a parent. Some men are mere sperm donors. Okay, girls? 2. Be cognizant or conscious of the fact that there are unscrupulous people everywhere. Therefore, choose your associates and friends wisely. Thirdly, be aware that in order for your child or children, and this goes for parents, to achieve your expectation of them, these goals must be in alignment with their goals or dreams for themselves. Okay, so if you want your child to be a doctor, the child can't want to be an artist. So it has to be in alignment with the child's goals as well. Lastly, be conscious of the fact that some parents play dual roles, mother and father, and some fathers also play dual roles. And this, of course, will cause you to be more empathetic and sympathetic towards them. I trust that you have learned all that you need to learn in order to understand this poem. If you have, share it in the comment section below. That's a wrap.
That's all, folks.
Praise the Lord, there are still some good officers around. I just want to say a big shout out to the officer who assisted me on Whitehall Avenue after the accident. Your help was very, very much appreciated. Thank you again, and keep doing good in your neighborhood. Look where I'm at. I'm at Azan, and Azan has some lovely stuff. I'm going to tell you, Azan Super Center.